I'm Tony from George's Gorgeous Gifts, and today is just a basic tutorial on how to mix resin that's bubble free. So I've got a clear cup to make it easier, and the resin I use is Craft Resin's 1:1 ratio resin. The bottles are a bit dodgy because I get them in the 8 litre bottles and transfer them into the smaller ones just to make it easier. So we're going to need a cup. For beginners, you probably won't have a bubble removing machine, so we're not going to use that, although I have got one and it does help, and there is a sale on the resiners one at the minute. So yeah, look it up. It is definitely worth getting. Right, so we're going to mix. It's a 1:1 ratio resin, so all resins are different. The deeper pores are normally a 2:1 ratio, but there are some normal epoxy resins that are also 2:1, so please check the manufacturing instructions. This particular resin is VOC friendly, so volatile organic compounds. That's what VOC stands for, so you might hear people talking about that. All resin is toxic, so even with the slight VOCs, it still really should be wearing a mask. So I have got mine, which is here, which is why I do a voiceover the majority of the time on my videos. So today I'm not going to be using that, but I am in a room with good ventilation. I have got a door by the side of me that's open. Although it's cold, it is well ventilated. So right, so we're going to start by not mixing up the lids, only taking one lid off at a time, because trust me, I've been there and I've took the lids off and then thought, oh, which one's which, put the wrong lids on, and then you can't get the bottles open. So one at a time. So I like to start with part A. So you can heat either part A or part B, not both, because when resin works off an exothermic reaction, so if it gets too hot, you risk a flash cure. So if you put in both parts in and then mixing up a large amount, you are likely to get a flash cure, which nobody wants. So I'm going to mix up enough resin for a project that I'm doing, so I'm going to need about 200 ml. So let's start off with 100 ml of each. So there's part A. So when you're measuring, you do need to be accurate, so I like to get right down at eye level just to make sure that it's at the right level. Hope I've got enough in this bottle. Yeah, just about. Just need to top the bottles up, so pop the lids back on. As you can see, there are a few bubbles in that, but we'll sort them in a minute. So we'll do this to 200, so that's 100 ml of part A, 100 ml of part B. It does seem like a very simple video, but for beginners, I wish that I'd have had a video when I first started on correct mixing, and because the mistakes that I made, I like to call mistakes learning curves rather than mistakes. But yeah, the learning curves that I have made would have been much simpler if there'd have been good tutorials on the basics. Right, so we've got our cup and mixing stick, and I'm just going to stir slowly. So I'm going to not put this on fast, just so you can see how slow I'm going for the time being, and then I'll speed up the last 2 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes, starting now.
So if I'm mixing up any less than one of these cups, then I put it on for 3 minutes. If I'm mixing up the 500 ml cups or any more, then I do for 5 minutes. So you can see I'm stirring extremely slowly, not to create any bubbles. Now, if you're using a wooden stick, that can cause bubbles because it gets into all the pores of the stick. If you're using an electric mixer, like this one here, it comes with the paddles, and you just click it in and switch it on. If you're using one of them, then try not to take it out of the resin, because that's what causes the bubbles. These are relatively cheap. I think you can pick these up for about £13–14. This one comes with a stand, so you can just set your cup on it and leave it, although you do need to scrape the sides and the bottom, even when using a mixer. Sorry, that was my mask falling off the side. So you can see I'm still stirring just slowly. Now we need to mix this until, see, it's quite cloudy, until it's clear and there's no stringy bits in, and that's when we know that the resin's ready. So I'm just going to pop you on to fast, and then come back when it's done. That there are still a few bubbles in there, but it is clear, and there's no stringy bits in it. So I'm just going to leave that to sit now for about 10 minutes, just so you can see all the bubbles rising. I'm going to take my stick out so that the bubbles don't gather around that. And then I'm just going to leave that to sit and watch the bubbles to come to the top. I'm going to give that a squirt then with alcohol to try and get rid of the rest of the bubbles. This is a good thing to have in your toolkit. So I pop mine into a spray bottle labelled with isopropyl alcohol. It's just a normal household spray bottle, but the alcohol I buy is off Amazon, and it's 99.9% pure isopropyl alcohol. I will drop the link to this in the description, along with the resin, with a discount code, Georgie's Gorgeous Gifts. That's for 10% discount off all products. Right, so I'll be back when that's ready. Right, it's been about 10 minutes, and as you can see, that's so much clearer. I have given it a squirt with isopropyl alcohol and mixed that in, just to help it along a little bit, and then I'll be popping this into a piece. So I'm Tony from Georgie's Gorgeous Gifts, and hope you've enjoyed just this basic tutorial. And happy crafting. If you haven't already subscribed, if you could just hit the subscribe button for me, I'd really appreciate it, because it helps to push my channel out. And happy crafting.